additional. So is there any questions about that particular, because I don't really think Brian needs to explain it. And then Patty, there's a $5,000 additional for the plat book maintenance, which that must have changed or something.
It was supposed to be 15 and I had put 5.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's just a mistake from the budget. All right. That's a line item that every year we do that. So, and then Emily or Madam Prosecutor.
Yes.
Law enforcement services, additional $3,000.
Yes. So just to, again, educate everybody on my criminal side of my budget, I've got 3 different funds that I typically use. I've got county general, which would be the taxpayer-based money, pretrial diversion, which is diverting criminal prosecutions of things like possession of marijuana, driving while suspended, more lower level misdemeanor offenses. And then I have the prosecutor deferral fee, which is where people, instead of paying their ticket for like speeding, different infractions, they go into the prosecutor deferral, they pay a fee, part of it goes to the clerk, it breaks down, part of it comes to me, part of it goes to the state. So what I'm requesting is out of that fund. And just for all of your knowledge, I don't really pay a whole lot out of prosecutor deferral fee, the Verizon bill, and then occasionally some random different bills. But I have approximately $118,601.77 built up into it. So it's a pretty healthy fund. But Josh obviously works for Clay Community Schools, develop the police department, which if we all have one thing in common, it's that we've all had children go to school, like community schools, and grow up here. And I think one of the things, as just a parent and then somebody that's actively involved in law enforcement, you know, the biggest threat to our community is something happening to our kids at the schools. And I applaud Clay Community Schools for developing the police department. I think that's a great thing. But I think that we can continue on with training to better shore up those things. I'm very confident in the officers we have in the schools that they can stop the threat. But if something would happen here, the aftermath of that, and I think that's what Josh is going to talk a little bit more about the training. But out of my law enforcement services, I have told them, if obviously we get the funding approved, to move that funds over, because I only allocate about $3,000 a year. I typically buy things like radars or vests or that kind of thing, I would pay for this. So that's what the additional request is. And Josh knows more about the training, so I brought him so he can kind of explain that training and what all is going to happen and what this would pay for. So I'll turn it over.
Well, I won't take up too much of your time. I'll be respectful of that. When the police department was established in 2022, I prepared a 5-year strategic plan for the school corporation and the police department. And we're here now into about year 3. And one of the concepts is not only establishing us as officers within the schools, being the mentor and the role models and so forth, but it's the training concept that she was alluding to. And what I was wanting to build to in the 5 years was to have a mass training seminar, basically, for all law enforcement, first responders, EMS, so forth. And this gets us to that breaking point to be able to conduct those training. So we have a safety commission that is established that oversees the school police department and the safety regards. But recently I developed a subcommittee to that. And it's a group made up of firefighters. We've got Jake Bennett, Larry Temple, Sheriff Swearingen's on it, Chief McQueen's on it, myself, and then we've got a couple school members that are on there as well. But what we wanted to do was develop a training program that attracted to everyone in our community, from the north end of the county to the south end of the county. And it's not just for the school police department. It's not just for the school police officers, staff, and so forth. It's everyone, firefighters, EMS, law enforcement, and the staff. So this company works with I Love You Guys. It's world-renowned organizations that go into training. This is initially a 2-day course. That's a train-the-trainer course. So they're going to come in the first day, and they're going to train 10 of us with a mixture of the committee. The subcommittee will help determine what 10 members are trained. They'll become instructors. And the second day, we'll bring in over 100 trainees, people from within the community, so teachers, again, law enforcement, firefighters, dispatch, we'll bring in a whole slew of folks that will then go through the procedures of training and what to do in the situation. It's not always an active shooter. It could be any kind of natural disaster, but man-made disasters. We often refer to the active shooter because that's what we worry about the most, right? We see that a lot more often these days. Eliminating the bad guy is kind of the easy part for law enforcement, but there's a lot more to follow after that. Getting the kids back to their families safely, treating and rendering aid to the victims. So there's a lot that will fall into that, and this company again will come in, they'll train the trainers on how to provide that training for years to come, and then we will then be tasked with that effort of making a larger tabletop training regiment for our community for years to come. With this 2-day course comes the opportunity for federal funding on a 3-day course where they would come back and hopefully we'd be able to get the federal grant and federal monies for that. But that would just allow us to train that many more people and give us more opportunities to provide them with the knowledge that's needed for these situations.
Well, I mean, it sounds great, and the good news, I mean, coming from deferral doesn't cost taxpayers anything in this particular case. It costs speeders money.
Yeah.
But they have to pay that anyway, so, anyway, so it sounds like a great thing. Anybody else have any comments
Yeah,
about that?
Josh, I applaud you for doing this, and, you know, if something horrific would happen, you know, again, beyond an active shooter, maybe a tornado, something like that, it's gonna be all hands on deck. It won't just be the school police department. It'll be every law enforcement agency in the immediate and even beyond that area. And if you look at situations like Sandy Hook, they brought law enforcement, I think even out of state. And I love you guys. I believe that was developed by a dad who lost a daughter in Columbine. Is that correct? So it's a
Foundation.
it is a great program. So again, well done. Thank you.
Again, this is just a small piece to the package that we're building within the corporation. You know, respectfully your time tonight, but there may be an opportunity one of these days where I can meet with the commissioners and the council all together at some point and just kind of lay that out, what we're doing. You guys, as the community leaders, you should know what we're building and what the structure looks like. It's an educational concept that we'll provide for parents as well, but I would love that opportunity if you guys would like it to come in and show you what our department's doing and the corporation as a whole.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, that's all the additional that were requested. Is there a motion to approve these or any other discussion? Rick? So moved. Move to approve the additionals.
Second.
Second by Jeff. Any discussion about that? Seeing none, proceed vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. All right, there are no transfers, and we do have a grant. So this is a Clay County request for grant application from Clay Circuit Court, 4E federal reimbursement of juvenile cases with public defenders, reverses the county for these funds, and when they get charged, they reverse the county. Judge Thomas is here to explain this request.
Hello, I was in front of you just a couple months ago. This is just a continuation of the reimbursement. To remind you, this is a reimbursement from the federal government to our county for the public defender funds we spend on the CHIMS cases, or the Children in Need of Services. We've today, I think, got our second payment. And it's about $3,000 or $4,000. It's not a whole lot, but it's money I don't want to leave on the table. And if you would approve this grant and tell me to keep submitting, I'll continue to pull the money up. It'd be about $4,000 each quarter.
Anybody have any questions to the judge?
Keep submitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep submitting, yeah.
I know how to do it now, so it's not so difficult.
I'll make the motion to approve the grant.
Moved by Jason Britton. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Jason Thomas. Any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries.
Did appear in front of you. Thank you, Dave.
Resolution 2026-01, jail commissary fund. I think this is an annual routine that we have to do this every year.
So, I mean, we certainly don't have to do it. However, it's something that we've.
It's something you kind of started
Yes.
when you.
So just as a refresher, IC code outlines, the reasons why I can spend money out of the jail commissary fund. With the very last section being any other purposes that benefits the sheriff's office as mutually agreed upon by the fiscal body and the sheriff. So what we've done the last several years in January, we've, proposed a resolution and highlighted reasons why I can spend money outside of what the statute provides that you guys are approving today, and I'm also approving. So that way we can spend this money for the benefit of the sheriff's office for the rest of the calendar year.
There's some basic ones that you want to just maybe give an example of that.
So, equipment installed in the county jail or specialty training, for law enforcement or for other staff, are things that we can spend money on. Some of the other things that aren't covered in statute are like legal fees for a legal deputy or legal services for the merit board. Those are things that I've requested. Some simple things as far as like shipping costs for equipment if we have to return things for repair or things like that. That way it's coming out of the jail commissary, not out of the county general fund.
Just for the public's information, he gives us a list of everything that's on this. So it's kind of basically a pre-approval list, and they're all things that go along with what the jail needs or different, even quite honestly, investigative expenses. There's literally a whole host of things that are on this list, but they're all appropriate to be used. And again, commissary funds are not taxpayer dollars, but they are primarily at the discretion of the sheriff, but he has been very transparent about those things. And so that's what this is about. Is there anybody have any questions for the sheriff? Is there a motion to approve the resolution 2026?
So moved.
Jackie Mitchell made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jason Thomas. Any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
You also wanted to do the sheriff pension annual report. Do you have anything to add to what you've already said about this?
So this is a new requirement that was passed in the last legislative cycle. It's just basically stating that the county police department or the department's designee shall make an annual presentation on the information contained in a report to the fiscal body. So it's pretty vague as it was passed in the legislative cycle last year. So what Baird has done is they've provided me paperwork to present to the council, and talked with the auditor today, and she said that you guys just need to acknowledge that you received this report to satisfy that requirement.
Okay. Thank you.
They do it vague.
Gotcha.
I'll accept a motion that we have received this so we can put it in the minutes.
I so moved that we received the report from the sheriff.
Acknowledgement of the receipt. Been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jason Britton. All those in favor? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Yeah, it's just a dupe. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Give me that one back. Give me that one. I thought maybe we had a duplicate. You just gave them both to me. No, it's just, they're both the same.
They're both the same.
Do you have one for the WIC?
For us and.
Do you have the resolution for
Send
WIC?
that way.
I put their part in that resolution.
Sorry. If you got, yeah, you got the resolutions for WIC.
Yes. You should have a copy.
Well, I have it here, yeah, I just thought maybe it's, okay.
No.
Okay. Request for grant application for Clay County Health Department WIC program, USDA WIC fiscal year 2026. This is the reimbursement of county funds and it's reimbursed and it requires a budget. So it's $225,000. We do not match it. So WIC is amending the amount requested due to increasing part-time CPA, which is what's it stand for? Certified.
Physician.
I don't know, CPA. It's not a CPA like a tax guy, it's a CPA, whatever they call it. But they've increased it from 14 to 21 hours, and this was requested by Rachel Dickerson, the department head on this. And this is all reimbursable, so it's $225,000 and we don't match it. So is there any, if you don't know, WIC gets women, infants, and children, typically they'll provide milk and certain, things that fall under their perusal. So it's actually a very good program. Anybody have a motion to approve the WIC grant? Moved by Jackie, seconded by Mike Heaton. Any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carried. CenterPoint Interlocal Agreement Resolution 2026-02. Who's representing CenterPoint here? Nobody? Commissioners can talk about it. Marty lives close enough, we'll let him talk about it. But this is something we have to do every year, and it's about basically taking care of the road on like snow days and stuff like that. So it's just an agreement that the county provides. I don't know, you want to describe that? What?
Without this agreement, when we get to the incorporated town limits, we have to raise a snowplow, drive through and drop it when we got to the other side. That makes everybody look bad. So, this is just to a total of $2,200, $2,000 of that is snow removal. $200 of that is for brush mowing on some of the back streets. They don't have equipment for that either. So, but it's just 200 East, 200 North, and Main Street are the only ones that we plot out for.
I wish I could get a interlocal agreement for you to do my driveway. Don't work that way. It is for municipalities.
How
So,
much it pays?
well, I can give you $50. All right, is that your agreement here? Okay, so this is resolution 2-2026, and we just explained what the resolution is. If you want to see a copy of it, it is available for the public. Is there any discussion or is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Jeff Fritz, seconded by Rick James. Any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carried.
Thank you.
Hamilton Center update, Monica. Oh, we got another?
Salary ordinance.
Well, I missed that.
Kelsey,
Hold on.
okay. Kelsey told me wrong. It was supposed to be 32 and I thought she said 31, so this is correcting it. It's in the budget correctly, it needs to be in the salary ordinance.
Okay, so this one is an ordinance, so therefore we'll have to suspend the rules. This is an ordinance setting compensation for certain county employees in fiscal year 2026. Juvenile probation officer should have been $32 an hour, and we had it originally at 31. Or non-exempt employee, if we approve this, it will go in effect immediately. 2026 code. Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
So move that we suspend the rules.
Jason Thomas moves to suspend the rules, seconded by Jackie. Any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye, all opposed, motion's unanimous. We now have the rules suspended to pass ordinance 2026-02. Is there a motion to approve? And Jason Thomas, and seconded by Mikey. Any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye, all opposed, motion carries. Okay, Monica.
Good evening. So I'm Monica Wallace, the Director of Satellite Services from Hamilton Center. So just coming to do our usual update fiscal year 25. You already should have received a letter about some of the changes that the state has made for us, the way that we're gathering information and reporting information to them, because they want to gather all that info from mental health, behavioral health centers, and putting it on a dashboard. So some of those have looked a little bit different, but then in this, the bigger packet explains the breakdown of things throughout this fiscal year. So one of them talks about regards to different meetings we attend, community partnerships, those types of things, a few of those, and then some of the training that we've extended to our therapists and staff to be able to provide more evidence-based practices to meet more needs that are coming in. We've received 917 individuals for services in that last year. 256 of those are addictions, 1,053, my bad, is mental health related. So it also breaks down like the different diagnoses and all. So you'll see like stimulants, alcohol and cannabis are like the top 3 diagnoses for adults for substance abuse. And children, we're on the rise of cannabis use right now. So, and we've been partnering with the school corporation to do like a team group, 2 different ones, especially so they're not just automatically suspending them. They have options to be able to stay in school and still receive
Cannabis
services.
abuse is higher? I wonder why that is.
Yeah. Yes.
Being close to Illinois does have its disadvantages.
Definitely, definitely. So the adults with mental health, you're going to see, of course, your generalized anxiety, your depression, and your bipolar are your top 3. Your children are more of like your oppositional defiance, your anxiety and depression as well. And that also breaks down like our inpatient unit stays. So within consumers that have just lived in Clay County, we've had 184 of those that stay in our inpatient unit, which is in Terre Haute. It's our big building beside Union Hospital. It's a 16-bed stay. And then it also breaks down the amount of clinical encounters, which is basically in services. So of how many we've provided outpatient-wise throughout that year. So it's about 7,500 during that time. Also, just to give you an idea, we have 87% of the consumers that we have that are below our poverty level. And then our inpatient days, of course, and then our outpatient is over 15 or almost 15,000, 14,897. Salaries and benefits is a little over 1 million. Expenses is 352,000. Cost of the inpatient unit care itself is a little over 253,000 right now. So we've got about $1.6 million going out just in the Clay County office. And then your tax money comes to us, it's 155,000. So a lot of that goes towards our charity care or like the financial assistance programs. So if they can pay, but they can't pay like a full fee of something, then we adjust a lot of those services off. So a lot of their money is being used for that. And then just the employees that live here in Clay County, we have 27. So throughout the whole agency. You guys have any questions for me?
Any questions for Monica? Thank you.
Thanks.
No problem.
Thank you.
Or anything, commissioners, any sheriff?
One more thing for you. Got to submit the final report for 2025 for the commissary spending. This will be for November and December. This will complete the requirements for Indiana Code 36.8.10.21. Can we give this to Patty?
Minutes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, commissioners, I believe you have a presentation that you're going to.
Yes, we contracted some time ago with a company to do a study here in Clay County at no cost to us. And they were looking at our heating and cooling and the lighting systems in all of our county buildings. And they made a presentation to us in December. And so we have invited them to come tonight to make a presentation to you. And I'll introduce to you Rick Anderson, who will tell you about himself and the name of the company and whatever. Okay, Rick?
Rick?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sir.
Oops, I still got mine.
You good? Got next to it?
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody had great holidays. And Larry and Jason, congrats on your elections, I guess. Anyway, so Rick Anderson with Verigy. I also have Cole Willis with me. Cole does business development with me as well. And Tim Zangi also is my lead developer on the project. So we got a little bit of information to go over with you, so bear with me. And I talk kind of fast, so if I talking too fast, you don't understand something, please say, hey, hold on for a second. So on the left side of your packet, first of all, does anybody work for the utility company in here before I make a utility comment? So I don't know if you guys know.
We all work for them.
I don't know if you guys know about the utility situation in Indiana. It's not very good. We're a regulated utility state. So most of the states around us, Ohio, Michigan, Illinois are all deregulated, which means you have choices of who to buy power from. Unfortunately, in Indiana, it's where you're stuck geographically. You're in Duke's territory for the most part. They're better than some of the other four. There's 5 investor-owned utilities in Indiana. But anyway, the average rate increase in Indiana over the past 15 years has been 6%. Over the past, let's say 3 to 5, it's been more like 15, 18, 20% or higher. And that's not going to change anytime soon. So what we're really trying to do with these projects is we are trying to not only lower your owning and operating costs, but we're also trying to upgrade your infrastructure. So think of these things kind of concurrently together. So on the left side of your packet, where the blue, real colorful blue thing is, so there's guaranteed savings legislation in the state of Indiana. It's called IC-36-1-12.5. Allows you guys to go out and do these guaranteed savings projects via an RFQ and RFP. Legislation's been around about 30 years. You guys have your separate council? Normally, or is he the same council as the commissioners have? Your legal.
Well, we kind of have informal counsel on our side.
Okay, well, if you look it up.
We need it, we have access.
If you look it up on indiana.gov, you can look up that legislation or indiana.gov and it'll tell you about the legislation. So, but what this guy allows you guys to do is do an RFQ or an RFP on these projects. It kind of usurps the traditional way to do business with hiring an architect engineer, put plans and specs together, advertise, take low bid, do change orders. You guys have probably been through all that mess before. This kind of takes away from all of that. The presentation that we made to the commissioners and the legal, I think your guy might have looked up everything to see that we were kosher and everything. But anyway, it allows you guys to usurp that whole process, which is really kind of a mess. It really is on doing business. And as Paul was telling you, we did an assessment for you, which if you guys went out and hired an architect or engineer to do what we did for you, probably cost you $50,000 to $100,000. We call that a cost of doing business. We've done that for the commissioners already as well. But that kind of tells you what we look at in the buildings when we go into. So we're looking at anything that's utilizing utilities, so lights, HVAC, building envelope, which is windows, doors, insulation. And we do quite a bit of solar. I'll get into the solar thing here in a second. You guys probably know, we just finished the project with the city. We did solar at their wastewater plant. We also did total street lighting retrofit of all the Duke street lights in town as well. We just finished that project. You guys probably know Brian Wyndham and some of the council members. I think they'd speak very highly of what we've done on our project. So, but then that's what we look at on these projects. Handout number 2, behind that one, again, on the left side of your packet, this talks about something called the Inflation Reduction Act. This was enacted back in 2022. It allows you guys for anything solar, geothermal, or battery technology, allows you guys to get payment back from the federal government in the form of about 30 or 40% on your investment. That's still potentially going to be available, and I'll get into the dollars and cents here in a second. But that's potentially what's going to still be available this year in 2026. It's probably going to be going away in 2027. Okay, so, and then there's a couple of case histories here on a couple of other courthouses and counties that we did work with, both Ripley County Courthouse and also Dearborn County Jail and Courthouse. And I'll get into that here in a second. So on the right-hand part of your packet, this is the actual assessment that we did for you guys. We spent a couple months putting together all the numbers. So if you looked at this thing, the objective is collaborate with Clay County to develop energy conservation measures to decrease energy usage, produce sustainable energy, reduce utility costs, and provide substantial benefits to their buildings and community. The scope inclusions, we're going to be putting, I'll show you some pictures here in a second, a couple solar arrays, 2 PV solar arrays, one at the jail.
The highway department?
The highway department as well. Courthouse controls integration, controls LED lighting conversions in not only this building, but also all throughout the county. So any place you guys have old lighting fixtures, we'll be going to LED light fixtures. Courthouse window replacements. I know that's been a big area of interest. We will be, part of this project, we'll be putting in brand new windows in the courthouse. And realize that we're not putting in commercial windows that don't look applicable to your courthouse. So this is an older courthouse. We just did the same thing for Ripley County. Theirs was an 1865 courthouse. We put windows in that were applicable for the type of building that you have. Okay. Courthouse boiler replacement, furnace condensing replacements of older R22 units. I don't know if you know much about R22 refrigerant. It's been out there forever, but it's kind of a black market now. It's very expensive. So any place that you got R22 units, we're talking about getting rid of those. And then a highway department, a radiant heater installed in place of the old box heaters. Radiant heat is really good. It radiates down. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. Real typical in firehouses. And then highway departments, it's real common. The benefits: avoid rising utility costs, gaining independence from the utilities. We're upgrading interface and operation through the building controls, improve comfort and reduce energy loss, eliminate use of the outdated R22, and prevent equipment downtime by replacing near the end of the equipment life. Again, guys, most times, and I use an analogy at your home, in your particular home situations, every about 15 to 20 years, you're going to need to replace HVAC, probably windows, maybe a roof, those type of systems. It's kind of the same thing here, guys. All we're trying to do is help you upgrade any aging infrastructure that you have, and about every 15 to 20 years, you potentially need to do that. Okay. On the right-hand side here on that first page, this talks about where we'd be looking at solar. So over at the jail and then also at the highway department. This is, and I'm going to get into a cash flow here in a second, but the possible project cost is $3,872,000. We'd be avoiding costs of over $5 million over a 20-year period. If you go to the second page of this, it shows you where the solar would go on the jail and also at the highway department. On the building control situation, the courthouse control integration of air handling units and FCUs for a singular remote control interface. Retro commissioning of the jail for optimized controls of older sections. Lighting, longer lasting, more energy efficient LEDs. Fixture replacements at the courthouse, community corrections, health department, extension office, airport, highway department, and jail. Furnace condensing replacements, replace one unit at the health department and 2 at the extension office. If you go to the 3rd page on here, it's just got a real brief thing that talks about the window replacement. Window replacement at the courthouse for reduced energy loss and comfort through the building. And then the boiler replacement at the courthouse for increased efficiency and to avoid upcoming failure of boiler near end of life. You're at about 27 years right now. Verigy proposes replacing one boiler and keeping the other as a backup, which would only operate during system maintenance. And then the replacement of the unit heater at the highway garage, which we talked about, which has failed, with radiant heaters for enhanced efficiency and control. If you take off the back page of that, there is a cash flow. And the cash flow basically shows you, so these projects, you're able to go out 20 years. The legislation allows you to go out 20 years for if you're going to finance something. So what this project really does is, and you'll see at the top line up here, it says annual utility savings. That's what we would be guaranteeing you each year. Again, the legislation says that if we don't save that money, we have to write you a check. So if we say we're going to save you $1 and we only save you 99 cents, we have to write you a check. So that gets audited. The state requires us to audit that with your bills every year. And then year 1 is kind of important. That's where we're talking about. There's operational savings there, but then this is where that talks about that IRA benefit of $453,000. So again, potentially, we can't guarantee that, but potentially we're going to do our darndest to get you that off on the solar part of the project. So I know a lot to digest, but again, and then back behind there, here's a utility summary. So there's a page here that talks about the utility summary of your buildings. It talks about energy cost by building and then total cost of utility. And this gives you a real good snapshot of what you're currently spending. And
do you actually have would you actually provide basically a breakdown of how where all the money is being spent, as far as that goes, or is this a total project?
Well, yeah, so I'm giving you a total project, and what I call this kind of everything but the kitchen sink. So, some counties, they're like, hey, we'd like to bite this all off at the same time. It gets it all done. We don't have to keep, every year keep doing another project and another project. The nice part about this is we act as a general contractor. So on this particular project, we're talking about lighting, HVAC, windows, solar, and controls. So hypothetically, if you guys did this on your own, you'd have to go out 5 different times and put together plans and pay the architect, engineer, put plans and specs together, put stuff out for bid. We act as a general contractor. So what we would do is, so the next step in the whole process would be you guys advertise. If you guys decide, hey, we want to do something. So we would advertise. I'll provide an advertisement for you. Somebody said, you're not going to give me an advertisement that's not slanted towards your company. Again, I give it to the attorney. You don't like the way this looks. There's not really any gotchas in there. It's just basically trying to get you guys the best project that we can get for you. You guys would advertise. You would pick a vendor. So obviously, I'm going to respond, but you potentially might get, 2, 3, 5. You might not get anybody else that responds. Okay. In our industry, there's, I talked about that IC-36-1-12.5. There's 20 companies on there that can do business in Indiana if they prefer to do that. So anybody can, give you a price back. But getting back to your original question, we would act as the general contractor. If you said, hey, we want to do all of this, after we got potentially picked to do the project, then we'd go out and talk to subcontractors on each one of these figures.
Is there any of this that you guys would self-perform? Johnson Mello was a HVAC company.
That's our whole company.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so Johnson Johnson Mello Inc. then turned into Johnson Mello Solutions.
Okay.
That's our old company.
Okay.
So Verigy, and I didn't talk about that, we're in about 22 states, but we got bought by a company and then put into a private equity situation. But Johnson Mello Solutions is our old company. Yeah, so.
Actually, to your point though, City of Brazil, the wastewater treatment plant, that was also performed.
Yeah, so on the solar piece, we do design, installation, the whole bit, but all the other stuff. So what I typically ask you guys too is, do you have any favorite contractors that you like to use? I try to use local as much as I can. I mean, I've got folks that I use from all over the place, but we try to utilize local if we possibly can. Yeah.
Johnson Mello used to own what we call the Sticks down in southern Clay County. Used to be, there was a public pool and it's got lakes and camping.
Is that Bob Mello's old place?
I think,
Yeah.
I think it was, but it always said Johnson Mello on it.
Yeah, that's before my time.
Closed to the public, so we hate that. No, we don't hate it.
Yeah, I think that's Bob Mello's old farm. Yeah.
I mean, well, it's more like it's more like a strip pit with a lot of ground with it.
Okay.
A lot of pits and really good fishing that went no longer.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys, understand how this all works. The commissioners, the project would actually be with the commissioners, but you guys appropriate the money. So we got to make sure that you guys are in sync with everything as well. So, as I say, you guys can't make the project, but you can break the project. So we got to make sure that you guys are in sync with the commissioners on everything.
Commissioners, do you have any comments you would like to make about this?
We wanted you to hear this, and we most certainly have made no decisions, whatever. I will tell you that I'm sure, speaking for Marty and Brian, our number one priority probably would be replacing windows and doors in his courthouse. They're getting to the point that they're not in good shape, and
no return.
And that is not going to be cheap. We looked into this a couple of years ago and got some prices, and it's rich.
Is that over the boiler situation? Doors and windows before the boiler?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so. I think so.
So are we historical designation? So we have to be careful.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We make sure of all that. So
Now, he's aware of that. We discussed that, and there's probably certain rules and regulations we're gonna have to take a look at and follow and so on.
Ripley's, we had to go through they had a separate historical society that we worked with. So, yeah, got all that taken care of. Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions? And it's something we definitely need to have discussions about with commissioners and so forth. If we move forward.
I think after you take a look at this and digest this, I think all three of us would welcome your thoughts and comments and ideas on this. Because it's got to be a team effort, okay? We can't do it without you, and so you need to be involved in what your thoughts are. And if your priorities you think are different than ours, then you need to tell us, okay?
We worked with the city for, like 2 years before we got approval to do the project. But I think Brian and the council speak very highly of everything we went through. They went down to North Vernon, a little field trip to look at North Vernon's. We did solar at their wastewater plant as well. So offer to do that with you guys as well. If anyone wants to go on a field trip, Ripley County, Dearborn, any of our projects. I can sit here all day and tell you how great we are, but if you talk to our references and our customers, they'll tell you that they really had a really good experience with a project like this. So
we have a project manager on the council, so we just
good. That's
line up in.
Yeah.
That's good.
So it's 3.8, almost $3.9 million.
Correct. So,
To do all of it.
to do everything. Yeah, to do everything. And you see how that, on the cash flow, you see how that works out through the project. And, that's what you
there's
have.
always kinds of ways you can find that.
First year savings is $900,000, almost $1 million.
Yeah, and that's, again, you got to consider the operational stuff, because if operational savings, you were going to have to spend the money anyway. Okay, if that makes sense. So that's including energy and operational savings. Okay, but we're guaranteeing that top line. Okay, so if you looked at the top line, it says annual utility savings. We're guaranteeing that top line all the way throughout.
And what you said Am I correct that you tell us it's gonna be so much of the savings, and if we don't save that much, then you're gonna give us a check?
Correct. We haven't written any checks. We try to not overpromise and underperform.
But that solar incentive may go away, most likely will be going away.
There's a real good chance if we don't get something going like now, in 26, yes.
It's the contract, if contracts are not signed before, and like a certain amount of work done before July 4th, because this is all associated with the big beautiful bill. So it's all associated with that, so that's kind of our deadline. It's 2026, July 4th for the solar.
Right, that's what, just for the solar.
So from that standpoint, as far as getting going wouldn't be a bit, but the advertisement thing normally takes, let's say 2 months. So once you decide that we're going to advertise, that normally takes 2 months to get that through and pick somebody, so.
This project without the solar would probably be dramatically reduced in its allowance of savings.
Yes and no. Lighting's your first you need to do, because that's going to get you your quickest payback. That actually gets you, Duke offers some rebates through that as well. Lighting and solar together is the best payback. Stuff like a boiler isn't a quick payback, but when you combine that with other things, windows are not a quick payback. That's a long payback thing too. Windows are 30 or 40 years.
In our particular situation, we have windows that are destroying our property right now. That becomes a whole different issue.
Yeah, there you go. So when you combine everything, I call it the aggregate. When you kind of aggregate everything, that's when that's where we come up with those numbers, because that's certain things that are low hanging fruit help pay for the stuff that takes longer to pay back, if that makes sense.
Commissioners, I thought we set money back, or we had money from some of those government money we got for the windows and the doors in the courthouse.
Well, when we had the ARPA money, we had checked into that, but we ran out of money before we ran out of projects, so.
I thought we had $1 million set aside for the courthouse.
No, it wasn't that much. I mean, we had a price of windows that was north of 700,000. I don't remember exactly now. At that time, I mean, that's been what, 2-3 years ago. So stuff's went up a bunch since that time. But the doors, just replace the doors alone was over 115,000 at that time. So we're looking at a pretty good chunk just to do windows and doors. I think the building automation, as far as providing a better work environment, temperature wise, when you got 3 floors, it's hard to control temperature. And I think that would make a huge difference here in this building. I think that would be a pretty quick payback for us.
Yeah, unfortunately, the thermostats in this building do not regulate the heating or the rooms as they should. That's been a major problem.
I forgot controls. So lighting, solar controls are probably the 3 quickest payback.
So is this going to be a BMS? You have it on a BMS here?
Yes.
And some of it already is. It's just kind of integrating some of these control units and everything. Air handlers been adding.
Right.
So my card's there. If you guys have any questions, need some clarifications, please feel free to call.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
All right. Next item of business, is there anyone here that would like to make any public comments? No, Marty.
The commissioners would like to give you a heads up on a couple of things that are coming. Of course, we've already talked to you about another full-time custodian for the jail. Right after budget hearings, we were informed that one of our part-time people was going to leave, and he gave us a 2.5-month notice. So, I mean, well, we really appreciated that, but it's time we're going to have to advertise for that, and probably by next month, you'll probably see, job description and that sort of thing to be approved for a full-time custodian, and we're gonna have to look at another full-time mechanic, a maintenance mechanic for across the road at the jail. So that's just a couple things that'll be coming here in the next month or two.
Anybody else?
I got a question for the commissioner. Got a replacement for Tom Ames on the development board.
Yes.
Councilman.
It was approved this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to lose Tom. Tom's been a very good member, dedicated member, has done a lot of work outside, and for whatever reason, Tom decided that he didn't want to serve again.
On redevelopment?
Yes. Oh, I think we were all very surprised. We didn't see this coming, to be honest. Or at least I didn't. I'll speak for myself. I didn't see this coming.
I mentioned Nick. I didn't either.
You didn't either?
No.
Okay.
I found out from Steve Wood.
Pardon?
I found out from Steve
Where
Wood.
did you?
Yeah, he's on.
Granddaughter works for me, and I didn't know it.
Yeah, found out.
If anybody knows Gosson, it's Steve.
Yeah.
That's true.
Speaking of boards and appointments, is there a master list that we can get a copy of just to see what dates and times everyone?
Paul is the master is there like, do you have because I know that you always seem to know when they are. You have a master list of appointments?
Made by commissioners,
Yes.
council,
Yes, yes.
and
Yes.
can we get a copy of that sometime?
That would be handy.
I've got everything in detail on one-year appointments and multi-year appointments. And it goes back several years on, John Doe was here, got one, John Doe died, Harry Doe replaced John Doe. I've got all that information.
I don't like
But
it.
yeah, just the.
I do not like it
appointments
either.
itself, so we have a calendar. We make appointments with the council, and we do that every year, but some of it's for. A master
I've
list.
got it in detail.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Anybody else? All right. Well, is there a motion to adjourn?
So,
Moved by Mikey, second. Jeff Fritz, any discussion?
You don't do anything all day.
Seeing none, proceed to vote. All